Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. It's me, War Rabbit, and today we are going to be talking about the new meta that came out after the nerfs to the Death Guard and Knights in the most recent kind of emergency balance patch. I believe the last 2 weeks was kind of just still like a little bit of a shift where there weren't that many tournaments with the new updates, but now this is like the actual full amount. Our first tournament list we're going to be looking at, which is going to be including the Death Guard and nerfs, is going to be the Battle in the Bush, number 11. I believe this was a 50-person tournament, 33, so it's a little bit of a smaller tournament, but kind of goes to show that we're seeing like this is kind of the evolution of just a second. I gotta go to Death Guard. The evolution of the Death Guard meta, where Death Guard have kind of moved away from certain things. Oh, god dang it. Syntax controlled. So this is a list. It's going to be a Virulent Vectorium. So this is the one that isn't Mortarian's Hammer that gives you 3 little dudes. It's not Champions of Contagion, which is the little fun boys. Where is it? Yeah, it's the very first one. You just pick. You pick objective markers. Sorry, when you control an objective marker, you just point your finger, and now it also has your contagion field. For the most part, I believe a lot of the benefits are coming for vehicles and basically buffing some characters or like warlords and stuff like that, or infantry. So we're gonna go over to this gentleman's list. He came in second place, Peter O'Neill. He did a fantastic job here. I believe he lost once, and he lost once in the third round. Who was the third round to? Let's see. It was Tay, the first place finisher. Who would have thought? So, Biologious Putrefier, he gets chucked into with the Blight Spawn. I believe the Blight, they can double up, right? Putrefier, can that go into, that goes in the Plague Marine squad. That's going to be in the list. Yep. And you can shove him in there with the Foul Blight Spawn. So got your Plague Marine, the Super Plague Marine squad. It's going in that Rhino. It is a very strong list, especially with the Putrefier giving lethal hits and then crits 5. And if you can somehow, the first time this model units, so if you can kill something in melee, which you're going to do with that souped up Death Guard with the Plague Marine squad, you are going to just get objective 6 on this guy. So he's going to be objective control 7 if he can get a melee kill, which is quite honest. To be honest, it's quite normal when you're giving yourself lethal hits on all of your weapons and crit 5s. I do believe the Plague Marine squad, as we look over here, it's going to be the Plasma Gun, Power Fist, 2 Blight Launchers, heavy plague weapons, which I believe are the Plague Mauls that used to be a dude. So yeah, just like what was it, 4 or 3, I forget. It's 4 of these basically super. Let's just do this. Boop. I need to I'm learning some organization for my videos. Sometimes I can be smart about it. You're taking the 10-man, and you basically got, oh, they already got built-in lethal hits, so maybe crit 5s are pretty good. But yeah, these are basically super power swords. I guess you can call them power fists, maybe. Yeah, it's basically just a power fist. I'm looking at it right now. It's the same exact profile. So he's getting the plasma gun. So you got some shooty, you got some melee. They're not oh shit, what did I just do? Oh no. So 2 melta guns, and you got the blight launchers, which I believe the super grenade launchers, right? Those blight launchers are insane though. Yeah, because like D3 strength 6, so you're effectively getting 2 shots if you roll low of strength 6 AP 1/2 damage. This is blast lethal hits. This is exactly what like an AFP wants to be. And just being able to, if you just shoot, you get afflicted is insane as well, because like these Plague Marines shooting is actually quite decent. Now we're gonna go to the Blight Spawn. Blight Spawn, I saw him a lot, but fight phase, and they get fight first. So it's just you can't start with a 9. It's the Blight Spawn. This is like what's it called? This Plague Marine squad is like the Judiciary Death Watch veteran 10-man, where you can't really do anything to it. Especially, I believe, I wrote Victorium. Does it let you can get stuff back when you Death Guard model, so you can heal yourself. And where doesn't this have deep strike somewhere? Oh gosh. And then you can 2C Plague Surge. I believe there's a way to reduce that. Where is it? Do they not have it? I'm pretty sure they had a... Oh, I guess they don't. I thought there was a way to deep strike these guys in, but I was wrong. But yeah, so these guys are just fun. Now we're moving back to the actual like other stuff. This is Revolting Regeneration. That is going to just be a super strong... where are you? Feel No Pain 5 on that Demon Prince of Nurgle. That's thing's already almost impossible to kill. Giving it a 5-up Feel No Pain is insane. Double Lord of Contagion. These guys are going to be going into your Death Shroud bricks. They're going to 6-inch deep strike, and they're going to shoot things. I'm pretty sure they don't have a restriction on charging. So you have Furnace of Plagues. Add 1 to strike carries the Bearer's melee weapons. The Bearer's weapons devastating wound. That just makes his really strong, Plague Scythe even stronger. It just is what it is. And then crits on 5 for Demon Plague of Nurgle. I believe they all have lethal hits. So when you're moving over to this Lord of Contagion right here, right? The Lord of Contagion has lethal hits built in. You get dev wounds, and being able to crit on 5s is kind of nuts. You basically, I believe, where is it? Yeah, that you know, sustain hits 1. So you're getting sustained 1 lance. So that's actually a strength 10 on the charge. They're basically all of his weapons have +1 AP because you're reducing armor save when you're in contagion range. And he just gets back up whenever he wants. And then he has a 4-up Feel No Pain when he's leading his Death Shroud. So these guys are just really hard to break, because if you just go over to the battle round, you're just gonna do Rattle Joint, right? You're doing Rattle Joint. You might do Skull Squirm. Scabrous Soul Rot, I just don't know how that works out, because basically it's good if like this could be really crazy if you're going up against Terminators, right? And they're 9 inches out of an objective you control, and they are now move 4, and then they roll like a 2. So now they're outside of, basically on their advance, they roll a 2 on their advance, and they don't have the command point. Like, you can deny some primary there, but I just don't see it. But yeah, and then you got, so let's move on to the next thing, the actual like this. So this gentleman, I believe it's a gentleman, his name's Peter. Could be horribly wrong. Maybe it's Pedette. But these two, normally those would be Plague Risk Crawlers or Mephitic Blight Haulers. They switched to this because they're cheap. Let's go over what they actually do. They're just a predator. They're not amazing by any means, but like las cannons, you got the auto cannon, -1 armor to infantry when you shoot, so makes your shooting a little better. So that's fun to basically strip cover effectively from infantry. So they're not terrible, but they're mainly got basically 2 las cannons, a havoc launcher, combi bolt. Like the havoc launcher is probably the las cannons are your main anti-tankish weapons shooting, because that havoc launcher, oh no, hold up, they don't have crack rockets, never mind. They're just blast weapons, my bad. I actually misplaced it. It's the double las cannons, and rapid fire 2 lethal hits is nice because you can use your combi weapon, right? You can basically just target everything, and then all you got to do is hit one of your like havoc launchers on some infantry that you're trying to target, and now they have all AP -1 on shooting. So you could like target some Terminators with your havoc launcher. You're almost guaranteed to hit it, and then you dump everything else into a vehicle or something. So there's always that. So that's kind of like the mindset right there. Plague Risk Crawler is probably still better, but they're like 200, they're over 200 points now, so they're not as good. Especially when you need to have the space for at least 2 Death Shroud Terminator squads, because they're just so good. There's just nothing you can do about it. The Feta Bloat Drones and the Poxwalkers are pretty stable, but really I think the traditional previous meta Death Guard lists are fine without like the Poxwalkers, and probably lose like a Mephitic Blighthaller. But this Plague Marine kit with a Rhino is really hard to shift. Like you just if it kill, because you can't charge it, right? Because it's got fight first. You can't charge it, it's got fight first. So the only way to do is shoot it, and you're not going to shoot them to death when they're in a Rhino. So they're basically protected until the person wants to use them, and then they kill something in the fight phase, and now they have a massive amount of objective control, and then they're reducing either to hit or they're reducing armor saves. So that's a really big change, in my opinion. I've ruled Victorium is pretty nice because it also, I believe, it basically effectively gives you sticky objective. Yep. At the end of the phase. So I'm pretty sure World Blight gives you sticky objectives. At least that's the way I'm reading it. It might be like until the end of the phase, so I'm not too sure how that works out. I don't know if this stacks. I don't think these stack. Maybe it just basically increases your bubble a bit, but yeah, I don't really know exactly the fight there. But yeah, so it's basically the standard Death Guard list. I think we're going to start seeing, not really standard because it's got the 2 destructors, but we're going to start seeing more of it, especially because you're going to need more anti-infantry, because we have some very heavy infantry focus lists coming up that I've been seeing. But yeah, going over to Tay for the first place finish. He is, or she, I don't know, let's go with they here. They're going with a Xenocreed Congregation, which is different than the Host of Ascension. This one is the one that just gives a ton of buffs to your Acolyte hybrids and your hybrid metamorphs and your neophyte characters. Just gives the characters a 3+ feel no pain while they're being led, so they're basically impossible to kill. You got all these juicy stratagems, so you got like the hybrid metamorphs and stuff like that. You just get full rerolls. Makes it that reroll a hit roll of 1. If destroyed model was a Magus, reroll hit roll instead. So it's like whenever someone to kill something, when they target or kill, when they destroy a unit, you get some buffs against them. Frenzy, Devotion, Hazardous, all this good stuff. Whenever they're being led by characters, pretty much all of your units are being led by characters, or at least the main units. You know, getting assault on your hand flamers is good. You know, deep striking, being able to get up and down, you know, stuff like that. It's pretty simple stuff. It's a very tough list, I think, because there's just so much. So you got the Acolyte Icon Wards. These speak to the masses, and Denunciator of Tyrants. The Denunciator of Tyrants gives, I believe, hit rolls of 1 and basically reroll 1 to hit and wound as long as it's being led by the guy. He's got a 3 up feel no pain. He's not going to die from pretty much anything. You could probably throw some of your wounds onto that guy, but the main one is Deeds to Speak to the Masses. 2 extra resurgent points. Resurgent points are the way you get your models back. So your units back. So you start off the game with 10 resurgent points. You basically have 12 now. So you effectively be able to bring back your Acolyte hybrids, the 10-mans 3 times, or bringing back a 5-man pure James Genestealer 6 times. So it's pretty good. it's a pretty good rule, and not too and you get them in Cult Ambush as well. And hold on, let me read this. For army, you start the battle with them depending on the battle size. If every model that unit's ability to spend, if you do add a new identical, it's all through any one-shot weapons that have not been shot yet. Place 1 Cult Ambush marker. Okay, yeah. You bring them back, you get 9-inch deep strike. So yeah, who would have thought? It's a good thing when you have 12 of them, because you get bigger bricks. Biophagus, they're giving lethal hits, and they have like a decent, like once per game they can like do something funny. And then the Primus, he gives full reels to hit. Incendiary Inspiration, he's going into your guy, and that gives him where is it? Yeah, it gives you Declare a Charge. You can advance a charge. So that's a really good thing when you're doing your hybrid metamorphs, because they have a lot of melee. And you got 2 lone op guys. Sanctus, he's just a little lone op assassin dude, and the Reductus Saboteur, he can kind of sit on an objective and detonate somebody when they get too close. You've got your 3 hybrid acolytes. They just are going to deep strike. 1 with auto pistols, 2 with flamers. he needed 5 points. he just needed 5 points. That's why if you had 5 more points, you'd have 3 flamer squads. The auto pistols aren't as good as the flamers. You just deep strike these guys in and they do a lot of damage. It's just the way it is. Sorry, there's four acolyte squads, my bad. And then 3 Goliath trucks. These are where you're going to be putting your 3 hybrid metamorphs, I believe, because that's just the only way I can see it. You're going to put your very squishy main fighty units into your boxes and send them up the board. They get scout moved because the metamorphs have scout. The metamorphs basically have lightning claws, I believe. Boop. They should have kind of lightning claws. Strength 5, AP 1, 2 damage, 3 attacks on the strike, and then kind of lightning claws. One of them gets you get 1, and then you get the hand flamers, so they do a lot. And they get brood surge. They just move. They D6 move, stuff like that. So they get that kind of movement. Adelan Jackals, these guys are just little biker dudes. They with the wolf quad, they just got some basic shooting. They're your screening force alongside some of your your neophyte hybrids, which I believe, sorry, acolyte hybrids, excuse me. I believe these guys, they all got deep strike, so they should all have deep strike. They all pretty much do the same thing. Yeah, and then you just reroll, just deep strike come in. I believe, do these guys get like natural? I always forget. Isn't this like natural? Isn't Cult Ambush like natural 3-inch deep strike? You can select 1 unit from your army. This is Cult Ambush. Set that to do so. Okay, it's got to be set up with a 9. Yep. Okay, I could have sworn they just had that, but yeah, you just drop them in. Does this have 9-inch deep strike? But yeah, you've thrown the hybrid metamorphs. You're just gonna reroll hits on something. You're giving yourself hazardous. You basically get an extra melee attack, and they all get weapon skill melee attack. They get hazardous. They don't care. They're just gonna fucking melt. They're just gonna charge in and kill themselves, and you delete something because that's an extra attack and weapon skill. You're gonna believe you're gonna be hitting on 2s, right, with your melee weapons when you charge in. Yeah, you're gonna be hitting on 2s. Like you don't care about that. So it's just a good little buff, especially with the other stuff like full rerolls to hit and advance and charge, especially with Frenzied Devotion. It's going to be insane. You get fallback and charge and stuff like that. So you get a lot of not necessarily. Yep, and then you get the downtrodden rise. You can just throw down a Cult Ambush marker and move some things around. So this is this list is good. You get the where are they? This list is just good. Like it's just I think the GSC is going to just come back again because they were already doing pretty well into the current meta, and now they don't really have like knights to stop them because like there's not that much strength 12 shooting in this list. But now these Achilles Ridge Runners, there's 3 of them. They got the heavy mortar. Heavy mortars, I believe, is just like a really big indirect shot. Where are you? Boop. Let's see. Yep, he's got the heavy mortar indirect. The reason he has this is to deal with Eldar. Ignore cover when you're getting the crossfire, right? Because I believe they get crossfire tokens. I'm pretty sure this is they still have crossfire. Host of Ascension, army rules. Did they get rid of the crossfire? I could have sworn crossfire was a thing. Oh my gosh, is that 9th edition? Am I crazy? I thought there was crossfire markers. Oh my god, I'm crazy. This changes everything. Is there? Okay, well, let's just assume I'm insane because that's the way it is. But yeah, so these Achilles Ridge Runners, they got the heavy mortars because they need to shoot. They need to dump onto they need to dump into these aspect warriors that are hiding behind. I believe he's got the survey auger, so he's shooting once to get ignores cover, and it's not infantry only, right? So it's all units they hit, and that heavy mortar is got 48-inch range, blast indirect. Yeah, it's going to hit on a 5, but nobody cares because your goal isn't to actually, obviously you want to kill something, right? I'm not saying it's like, oh, it's not good to knock out an aspect warrior too, but it's definitely there to make sure that you get that ignores cover. Ignores cover is really important because then your hand flamers don't have to worry about armor saves or anything like that because they something has a 4 up, they go down to a 3 and stuff like that, which is like most aspect warriors. So when you deep strike in your pistols, they just kind of melt things and stuff like that. So it's very important that you get that. Heavy mining tools, I believe that's just a big melee brick there instead of just flamer boys. Yeah, the problem I have with Genestealer Cults is that I'm a Tau player, and they have so much crap on the board that can completely deal with my whole army, and I have to just basically play whack-a-mole because they're constantly bringing back full 10-mans of hybrid metamorphs. Or and then you got this Genestealer Cult squad, pure change Genestealer that just fucking melts anything in its path. You know, it'll charge into something as long as it's not fight first. It most likely will kill pretty much any infantry squad it runs into, and it's got this nice infiltrate threat, if I'm remembering correctly. And pretty much their entire army scouts, like their Adelan Jackals, it's got like Scout 9. They got stealth. Goliath Truck gets Scout 6 because of the neophyte hybrids. They just get deep strike here, but you don't care, you're deep striking them. Pure strain Genestealers, where are they? They have infiltrate, right? Yeah, they got infiltrators and deep strike, and they got advance and charge. And it's just one of those things where you're just sitting there and like, goddamn, dude, they're you have the cult icon bringing things back every turn, and then you got their resurgence point. There's a lot there. They effectively, right? They can effectively have neophyte. You can't bring back hybrid metamorphs, can you? Okay, no, you can't. So they've effectively can bring back all these little dudes, the neophyte hybrids, which they don't have, are hybrid metamorphs that you can't bring back. You can bring back the acolyte squads. You have 6 of them. You got 12 resurgent points. You can bring back pure strain Genestealers. You can bring back them. You're effectively up like 300 points on your opponent. You can bring back Adelan Jackals, which are those really fast screen threats, and it's just you throw them up in cult ambush, and it's just a very fast, very hard hitting army that also has, it's very weak, but it has a ton of stuff like these demo charges they have do a shit ton of damage. Just insane. Yeah, congratulations to Tata. You did fantastic with this list. It wasn't that big of a tournament, but you still did great. We're moving on to the next tournament. This is Warhammer 40k mid fall 2025. I believe this one was the 50-man tournament. Yeah, 43, great and close. The list that I picked for this, I believe, is Martin. The first place, Martin Bramer Nielsen, Bramer, I don't know how to say that. Thousand Suns, a little bit different from the standard like flamer blobs. So you still got some flame, but you're running Grand Coven, which is, oh my gosh, how do I always do this to myself? Oh my god, I can't even spell right. It's the standard one that just buffs all of your juiciness. You know what I'm saying? It buffs all of your psychic stuff, right? Grand Coven, yeah. Cabal Sorcerers get the psychic test. Grand Coven, hold up, no. This is different. Which is I thought one of these is the one that just, oh yeah, no, this is the one. This one just buffs all of your psychic weapons, and then you get all the extra juice from the enhancements. Magnus the Red, he is the core part of every Thousand Suns list. He is your long range shooting. He is almost impossible to kill once he buffs up. And you got this Demon Prince, Infernal Care, Eldritch Vortex of Tough. I believe that's the double Doom Bolt. Oh no, it's not. Double Doom Bolt is in Candium. Yep, double Doom Bolt. Eldritch Vortex of Tough. He's the one that just buffs up your psychic weapons, I believe. Is it the one with he's a guy with wings, right? Yeah, he's on wings. And he's got one with Dark Blessing. What does Dark Blessing mean? Yeah, he's got a flamer. No, it's not. What even is this? It's basically a flamer. Goddamn, hitting on a 2 doesn't freaking matter. Yeah, he's just got a lot of 24 range super shooting, and he's got an infernal flamer. I'm pretty sure he can shoot both because he's a monster, right? Yeah, he's a monster, so he gets to shoot all of that, and then he just got some decent 24 range shooting. He targets characters. He doesn't have lone op, but he's got a 13-inch move, so he's a fast boy, and he's getting all of his benefits to this. He's getting, I think, +1 to what is it? He's getting a +1 to hit stuff. He's getting buffs from his Eldritch. Yeah, add 1 to strength, so he's getting strength 6 and damage. Oh my god, it's not even hits. So his Eldritch Flame is gonna hit pretty hard, and it's get dev wounds and all this good stuff. You can get 30-inch. You can get that 30-inch super flamer that has to roll the hit. You got the sorcerers. These guys, they just exist. They're going to be going into your Rubric squads to give them better shooting. That's just it. They just go in the Rubrics. The Rubrics got super flamers and their abilities. And then you have a sorcerer and Terminator armor with Umberlific Crystal that I believe lets you uppy downy. Yep. Lets you uppy downy your Terminators, which is good. Keeps them moving. And this Terminator brick is really hard to kill. They have a lot of good stuff. A lot of good shooting and some decent melee. They're not like uber amazing, but they have decent anti-tank shooting, okay infantry shooting. Their melee is pretty strong. I believe they get power weapons instead of power fists, so that kind of changes some things. So their melee isn't necessarily super amazing. It's about as good as like a Blade Guard squad. It's really their shooting and their Malefic Curse, because you get that anti-infantry 4+ dev wounds. So like if you target infantry, you're getting AP3 1 damage attacks onto them, and you can make that 30 inches. So there are a lot of this threat range is at 30 inches, which is huge. Zangors, they just exist. They're just there, you know, nothing to do. Same with the Enlightened. They got they're okay shooting and all that stuff, and they get the Rhino for I don't know, you put one of these Rubric squads in there. Like, you know, it makes it hard to kill a Rubric squad if there's a Rhino in it. So yeah, your main source of damage is coming from Magnus and his Demon Prince, and the sorcerers when they use their what's it called? Oh my gosh, I'm terrible at this. When they're using the Pandemonic Delusion, sustain hits 3 and stuff like that, it's just 6 attacks, 3. It's like, oh, it doesn't do super good. You know, they're getting lethal hits. So you get lethal on your Pandemonic Delusions while it's in a Rubric High squad. So you just got a ton of shooting power coming out of these Rubric Marines, especially anti-infantry shooting, right? And being able to just buff up his once per turn, he basically just gets to say, I have 7 attacks and what is it? Strength 9, AP 1, D3 damage with my force weapon. But I'm pretty sure he's just using his Pandemonic Delusions whenever he gets the chance, once per turn, once per battle, and just buff up and delete something. Especially with these Scarab Cult Terminators, where they're just they're just -1 to wound. So they're just a tough brick. Like a lot of these Terminators that are -1 to wound are just so good right now. They're just so durable, and you're getting all these uber buffs. Like obviously, when you go over to here, you get all Umberlific Crystal, uppy downy, and Eldritch Vortex is up top, just buffing up your Demon Prince. Then you get all these actual juicy stuff. You get, you know, one CP sticky objective. You get hazardous. You get a feel no pain until equipped by models and attacking you have the hazard. Yeah, you basically every time you get a target by, you basically have counterplay into your own army with that, and then what? Have any phase after saving throws failed for model from your army if you're using fast items could still be used after rolling multiple saving throws at once. What? So this is just to zero something out, but I don't understand what fast dice rolling has to do with it. You just roll and you can just zero it out, I guess. Okay, so even if you roll multiple, you can zero out anyone that you don't like. Okay. So yeah, you just get sorry, my bad. I'm just sitting there like thinking like, what the hell does that mean? But yeah, this Thousand Suns list is brutal. Normally they'd have some Mutable Vortex beasts, but they chose to take this big brick of Scarab Cult Terminators, and I think that's a good finger on the pulse for the meta, because these -1 to wound Terminators are really hard to shift, and a lot of these I don't care what you have. I have a 2 up, I believe 2 up, 5 up, or 2 up, 4 up. Yeah, 2 up, 4 up on these invulns. 3 wounds each, 4 on the big boy, and they're just sitting here tanking as much as they can, and then they uppy downy away if they're in a bad position. So they don't want to actually melee, so they can just deep strike wherever they want, pick up at the end of your turn after deleting something, and do it again next turn. And you could just leave them on the field and then just save that, have them walk around and do stuff. It's just and they're all this psychic stuff, because like especially when you're dealing with if you go up against 1,000 Sun and they're not running Grand Coven, you just completely just, okay, your entire army has, like, your Magnus now has hazardous on all of his attacks, and it's just, okay, well, my Magnus might kill himself now. But yeah, it's a very brutal list, and Martin Bramer Nielsen, congratulations, man, you did a fantastic job on a 43 player tournament. Kind of some small tournaments this weekend. I think a lot of people went to Nova and they just took a break. So now we are going to the next tournament. This is Bloodshed Bay. This is going to be a Black Templar list, and it's 65 players, and we're looking at Adam Westmanchesterfield, and mid-table horrors. And I love the name of his list. I fear no assassination, because fixed objectives are a myth people made up. So as you can see, just like that Genestealer Cult army, he has pretty much half of his army is characters. It's not really half, but you know what I'm talking about. So Black Templars are pretty simple. They take their Castellans, they take their Marshals, and they slam them in Sword Brethren squads, and they have an E-Champ doing something else. Battle line, he just got an Intercessor squad, just exists. But the main thing is that he's got these 2 Impulsors that's putting something in them. I'm not too sure yet. I haven't really been thinking. Assault Intercessors for some just standard objective play. You can charge them onto things. They're fast, they're durable, they do a lot of damage. They can clear chaff and take and muscle off objectives if they're not like a knight. You go into Gladiator Lancers. This is just your standard anti-tank alongside your double Repulsor Executioner, which is your mainstay anti-tank. These Repulsor Executioners, they got a special buff. They for Black Templars, they have a different ruling, because Repulsor Executioner for a Black Templar has a, probably, if I was Games Workshop, I'd just make it so all Repulsor Executioners have this rule, but Black Templar get a special one because they get multi-meltas. I think they cost like 5 points more or something. And their new rule is, instead of the normal Executioner where if you target a weakened unit, now you just get reroll hit rolls. Every time you shoot, your entire army gets reroll hit rolls. You get reroll hit rolls if an enemy's within 12. So you could literally deep strike you could deep strike your Assault Intercessor squad within 9 on the line 9, not even trying to charge that guy, and now your repulsors have full rerolls to hit against that target. So it's a very strong ability now, compared to, I think they just get some benefits if they're like below half. So Scout Squad, same thing you're going to need for those Assault Intercessors. It's in Gladius, by the way. They just didn't take any enhancements. So Gladius, you get the triple Assault Doctrine, and then you get the Vow for, I believe, I forget the fucking Vow. It's like +1 AP, or which one was it? It was, what is the Black Templar Vow? There's only one you're going to take, and it's the one that, yeah, it's the accept any challenge, reroll ones. You get -1 to wound if your strength is lower. If your toughness is lower than their strength, you get, if it's +1 to wound on basically your whole army. Everything else is kind of just there. Like, okay, Abhor the Witch, you're probably never going to take. Suffer not the Unclean to Live could be okay, but you're just taking the +1 to wound for your entire army, because you're getting, I'm pretty sure that's stacked with Gladius. I could be wrong. Oh no, you can't, because you can't include Black Templar. So you basically are getting the effect of not running special chapters as Black Templar. And so yeah, you're just going down. Impulsors, they're going to fit something in there. Assault Intercessors drop down. You're just going through your standard Gladius stuff. They're not taking any of this. You get Tact Doctrine, declare a charge for the fell back, declare advance and charge. You know, you can advance and shoot. Probably not using Devastator Doctrine too much. You know, squad tactics, armor of contempt. It's just a lot of your standard Gladius task force. Ignores cover, you know, once a turn. with Storm of Fire, stuff like that. Pretty sure the Marshal gives you some. I'm pretty sure Marshals give you some benefits. Let's take a look. Are they the ones that give you reduced command points because they're the captain equivalent? Nope. He's just a world beater. Okay, they changed that. So yeah, he's just running in to kill things. But yeah, so you're throwing your window slamming, your double guys with the sword brethren, and you're throwing into your captain, your marshal. I don't know where the E-Champ is going, the Emperor's Champion. He might just be by himself because he's got Lone Up. He might literally just be trundling up the board. He is an insane model. If you haven't already seen him, he got a little bit of a glow up. He was already pretty okay prior, but now he's just once a phase, he can 0 out a failed save. And he just, each time this model declares a charge, if one or more targets to that charge have the character keyword, add 2 to the charge roll. That's insane. Once per battle, when this model is, if that unit is within engagement range of one or more enemy character models, this model can use this ability. If it does, until the end of the phase, melee weapons equipped by this model have the devastating wounds. So he's getting +1 to wound on his sweeps. You know, they get dev wound. So if you target, say, Lord of Contagion, he is now wounding that guy on like 3s on his sweep attacks. AP2. If you're in, you can. I'm pretty sure. Let's see. Boop, 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 boop. If I remember correctly, isn't there a way to give yourself an extra AP? Normally you'd run Honor Vehement on him because he can actually take that, but he didn't use that, it seems. Boop, 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 boop. Gladius. Nope. Yep. That's Armor Contempt. Where are you? You get Honor, yeah. You honor the chapter when he charges in to get that AP3. And now you're getting basically almost you get a 7-inch deep strike, but he can't deep strike obviously, so he's just going to charge in. Basically anytime he charges a unit, he's just going to do damage. You know, the anti-character 5+ precision with dev wounds is actually really nice. But yeah, he just gets like AP4 3 damage with anti-character 5+ dev wounds. Like he's a blender, 2-up 4-up, and he can 0 out a failed damage every hit. It's just a good list. I think he might just like I don't see why you wouldn't just throw him in the intercessor squad. I'm pretty sure impulsors don't have enough space for everything. Because repulsor executioners, they can fit 7 models. Let's see. Yeah, 7 impulsors. They where is it? The Black Templar Impulsor, they all of the Black Templar vehicles have multi-meltas. Okay, so yeah, they can fit them all. Yeah, I don't know. You got assault vehicle, but you can't charge out of it. So I don't know how they're putting this in, but I would assume the Emperor's Champion goes in the intercessor squad and just goes in the impulsor, or I just don't know. I think he's just Lone Up. He could just be hoofing it on his own, and the intercessors could just be chilling it out. So he could be put into a Sword Brethren squad, and you put your Marshal and a Castellan into an intercessor squad, and you have like a decent shooty fire base because intercessors can double fire, and Castellans give you lethal hits, and Marshals are just good beat sticks. So it's just something you could do. I'm not too sure. But yeah, congratulations again to what is your name? Adam Wetzman Chesterfield for getting first place at the Bloodshed Bay. Congratulations, man. You really did a good job. And we are going to do, how many more lists? Okay, we're going to do a quick Montcall list because I like this. This is the Goonhammer Open UK. He came in 3rd, Tony Barrett. He has kind of a simple Montcall list, but it's a little bit of a cool little tactic. Strategic Conqueror on his Fireblade, that just gives him, I believe, where are you? That just gives you more objective markers when you just pick a thing, and then like, oh, that all my Tau Empire models are now +1 to that whenever I want. He just picks, everyone gets it. It's a good little thing, just like, oh yeah, you pick your opponent's like midfield objective or natural, and you can just put pressure on all game because now all your breachers or whatever have +1. Shadow Sun, you need Shadow Sun if you're not going to be taking stealth twos like this list isn't. Spoilers. Shadow Sun just reroll one aura. If she sucks if the stealth suits are in your list, but like if the stealth suits aren't in your list, this is the only way you get rerolls in this entire faction. So you're gonna need it. Firesight team, he's just your caddy for Strike Swiftly. He's hard to kill because lone op. He can just sit on the backfield objective with lone op and just be like, okay, I don't care. Strike Swiftly. It's gonna let you scout two things. You got double Devilfish. So, and because there's only one breacher squad, it means there's gonna be a Pathfinder going in there. I think you might be strike. I don't know who you strike swiftly with, to be honest. You got, so the main bulk of the damage is gonna be these two-man squad high yield missile pod broadsides. They're not heavy rail because you're not going to be seeing as many knights, so you don't need as much anti-tank as we were going, because now you're basically going back to this almost marine equivalent infantry blobs that I've been seeing, pretty much like similar to this hybrid metamorphs. High yield missile pods are going to destroy this. This Death Guard list, high yield missile pods are going to destroy this. You don't need to have these, like, okay, your plug marines jumped out in front of my broadsides, I'm going to gun you down. There's nothing you can do about it. Same thing with the ion cannons. If you're not going to be taking, because ion cannon hammerheads are the most efficient anti Terminator stuff. If you're not taking Riptides, if you're taking a Riptides are worth more. They cost a little more, and they have a better ion cannon, but you lose out on some of the stuff like double seeker missiles. So you can kind of just dump your seeker missiles into like you can mark with your Pathfinders or whatever to get the ignore cover, and then you have Shadow Sun. And then if you come over here to the hammerheads, where are you? You get a ton of stuff. I think you can get the coordinate to engage to get the extra AP. You get the armor hunter, so your seeker missiles are now hitting on a 3. Are hitting on 2s when you're targeting a vehicle, right? With that are marked. And then you can shoot a reroll to hit and wound. Well, seeker missiles are strength 14, knights are strength 11. So that means when you launch one seeker missile a turn, you can dump your seeker missiles, all of them at once, or you can just shoot one a turn and try to hope they can't kill you. You can shoot 3 secret missiles into one knight, or you shoot one, make them rotate ion shields, target another, and then dump into that one. That targeting array is going to make your entire shooting go well, and then the ion cannons are going to be hitting on 2s when you're targeting a vehicle, and it's just a lot of damage coming out, because like, okay, what are they going to do to you? Like, there's just hammerheads are just really good, efficient shooting. You've got this Ghost Keel, Twin Fusion Blaster. It's just a Melta cyclic Iron Raker. It's the only thing he can I'm pretty sure he can fall back and shoot with battlesuit support system. It's not the weapon support system. Kroot Carnivore, Kroot Hound, Kroot Tux Riders. This is just trash to fill the board. Like, you don't care. Kroot Hounds are just going to go block something. They're going to go be annoying. Kroot Tux Rider can hold objective, and the Kroot Carnivores are just there to die. Double Pathfinder. One of these Pathfinders is 100% being thrown into a Devilfish. I just don't know which one. And then a Prana. So if you notice, there's no stealth suits. Well, because a lot of the shooting doesn't need a stealth suit, right? Hammerheads, they do not need a stealth team to really get the maximum out, especially if they're running ion cannons, because you're really only focusing on that secret missile. It's 2 of them, and then you get a ton of stuff. And then even your you might be thinking, oh well, where is all the anti-tank? But like, these secret missiles, like, there is a ton of anti-tank into this stuff, especially if you're targeting like mass ion cannon. It's wounding knights on 5s, but like, it's just that, like, you have like 10 plus shots coming from each of these guys that if a couple of them go through, it kills. Like, these high yield missile pods are strength 7, right? They ignore cover, and they still got the smart missile system, so they're going to be shooting like 3 shots out. So it's just enough to bother you. Like, you're not going to want to walk into these broadsides, and you actually look at the stratagems, like, okay, they get lethal hits as well. So they're just every time you're just running forward. I think you strike swiftly, actually, the broadside to get them into better positions and just have them sit on the board all day, because you're going to be doing you got pinpoint counter offensive, so just full rerolls to hit if someone kills your guy. Probably could have done a Vespid squad, so you could actually get better benefits from that than the Kroot, but Kroot are still just good. Auto 6 advantage is always good on those two-man broadside because they want to walk up the board to get better range. Focus fire is the one that actually matters. You just have two hammerheads shooting into a knight or something. They're going to delete something, you know. You're going to target with, you're going to guide with your Pathfinder or whatever the hell has a marker light, and you're going to target into a knight because the hammerhead's going to kill anything else that isn't a knight in like one or two rounds of shooting. And then you got combat debarkation, just a little bit of full rerolls to wound, plus whatever the breachers are doing, and the pulse onslaught. You get stuff like that. So it's, and then pulse onslaught. You could technically use you can technically deep strike a Vespid squad and use as well for advance and charge, and then counter fire defense system. That's just there's a good chunk of stuff this list has. There's a reason why it came in third. It's the reason why it came in third. I like it. Pathfinders and a Devilfish are a very funny combo because you could probably actually just put both of them and then walk them, and then walk your breachers. But the breachers have a Cadre Fireblade, so they have to, I believe. Hold up. Do you have to be on the board to? Yeah, it doesn't specify you have to be on the board to use Strategic Conquer. So there's that. Okay, so now let's just rapid fire this knight list. This is basically what I was kind of saying, where they're just going to drop a knight and add some armatures. So we got the Bendigo Open 2025. Michael Hamilton, he went 5-0. We are now looking at RP Project. Imperial Knights, he's just the same thing we were having. He's got Night Warden now. He's got Mythic Hero and Mysterious Guard. So, if you know Knights, Mysterious Garden, that's the one that lets them move around. Funny. Mythic Hero, I forget what that does, because most Knights weren't even taking them. If I remember correctly, most Knights lists were not taking Mythic Hero. They were just taking as much as they can fit. But now they have to. So where is it? Detachment rule. Yeah, so you can just select more bondsmen, so you can get more. You can do that and all those extra benefits. I don't believe the codex is out yet. So Night Warden, pretty sure this is the guy that's like -1 to wound. Let's see. Or was he a big boy? Is he the big guy? Is he 12? No, he's just the dude that he's got dev wounds. Yeah, he can subtract 1 to damage on his armatures. So he's the guy that picks out. So it makes sense why he's got the Night Ward. Oh, he doesn't have. Oh no, that's the Atropos. Yeah, that's the normal one. Jesus Christ, it's like half his list is just knights, and it's like, oh my god, there's like nothing. And then you have armature. You got 5 armatures, and then just a guy for 40 points. So yeah, no wonder this list won. Canis Rex is still nuts. He just kind of just rolls around doing what he wants. Cerastus Knight, Atropos, they just go around doing what he wants. Heavy Night Warden, he's the one that babysitting the armatures. You know the drill. If you know a Knights list, it's the exact same one we've had for the last 3 months, just -1 big Knight. and add an Arbinger. That's kind of the way it is with Death Guard and Knights right now in the new meta. They just kind of just dropped a couple things and kept the same list. Maybe some minor changes. The new Knights Codex is fucking nuts. I'm looking at it. I do not see, I could not imagine, because previous points costs were going to be the new Knights Codex original points cost, right? Because they stalled out the Codex release for Knights, and then they updated them with Chaos Knights to make the Chaos Knights and Imperial Knights have the same points costs. The problem is that now I'm like, well, if this is the points cost they intended, does that mean these were the points costs they intended for the Codex to be launched with, right? So Canis Rex, instead of being 415 points, was like 380. And you're just like, what? When he does all of that stuff in the new Codex with all those buffs, it's going to be nuts. I think I think this Knights list should probably go up another 100 points with the new Codex. That's just me. But yeah, I think that's it. Congratulations to everybody that did well. And congratulations to everyone that actually went to these tournaments. Without you, I can't make these videos. a little bit longer of me kind of just waffling and going in depth into some of these lists because one, I don't know Genestealer Cult that much, and I feel like instead of just talking out my buns, and I'd rather just look at the actual hard data. I'm not looking at the stratagems because the stratagems are just something you can buff up. It's mainly the characters that I found to do a lot of the work. Stratagems are just like give yourself an extra AP, reduce damage, or you're able to do something else. Like with that Black Templars list, it's just like, okay, well, you get Lance and you get AP. Okay, so +1 strength and AP on the charge. -1 AP when you get worse in the armor penetration. You can fight on death. Ignore cover when you shoot whenever you want. Adaptive strategy lets you just pick a unit from your army. They also get assault doctrine every turn or something like that, right? So realistically, outside of the enhancements and the actual detachment ability, the stratagems are they're important, obviously, like they're key parts of the combo, but they're not like super duper important. But yeah, I think that's all for today. I found a good chunk of lists. It was a little bit of a smaller weekend. I think there was a lot more tournaments, but they were all smaller than like the big Novas or like 100-person, 70-person tournaments. We're probably going to be seeing a lot more. We're getting closer and closer to the next balanced data slate. Probably next week I'm going to put out what I want to see for Tau. I don't really know too much about other factions. I know like Guard probably needs some changes to the way the Leman Russ works. And like everyone else I think is pretty good. There's probably some like minor things that each faction wants to change. But Tau is the one I know a lot more about, so that's just going to be something I'm talking about. I think Space Marines, like the new Black Templar, like the Black Templar Repulsor Executioner should probably be farmed out to the base Repulsor Executioner to make it better type of deal and stuff like that. But I think most armies are in a good spot. We just don't know yet. And I think it'll be really, this next balanced data slate's going to be pretty haphazard. I think it's probably a lot of no changes and maybe some just like minor points cuts here and there because we're kind of close. Like obviously the lower tier armies like Agents and who else was it? It's like it was Agents and it was I think it was pre-Codex Black Templars. I think after Codex Black Templars are just going to be an A tier army that are just going to be good all around. But I think let's actually look at the current list. Like Votann, I saw a Votann list. But I saw a Votann list. I just know nothing about it. But yeah, come for the yeah, everyone's like, okay, here comes the sun when it comes with the new knights coming in. Who is it? Who's at the bottom? Yeah, it's the oh my gosh, I don't know what I'm looking at. Okay, so it's going by I don't think it's going by win rate, is it? Oh, it is. Okay, so who's at the bottom right now for this week? We don't really know too much. Yeah, Astra Militarum, Base Space Marine, Chaos Space Marine, Sisters of Battle are not at a 43%. Go fuck yourself. Orcs, Tyranids as well. Look at Vanguard Art slot 67% and Atmec. So we're gonna see some stuff happening. Probably some minor points changes to some of the lower performing armies. I doubt rules changes for Tau. I'd like to see some like. I don't think Tau just kind of need an overhaul, but I'll get more into that when I actually do that video. But yeah, thank you all very much for watching. I really do appreciate it. If you made it this far, I really hope that you hit that like button. It helps me out a lot and lets me know you like my content. If you want to see more of my content, hit that subscribe button. It will hopefully notify you, or it'll show in your YouTube feed more often if you subscribe to me. I'd really hope it if you hit the notification button, but I understand that a lot of people probably don't want to do that. I don't use notifications on YouTube, so I understand. I stream multiple times a week, and I try to post at least 2 videos a week. Right now, I'm not hitting that target. I'm getting 1. I'm going to do 2 from now on. I'm 100% going to be doing 2 no matter what. I stream. I post my stream schedule every Sunday on YouTube and my X account. So if you want to catch my streams, mostly gaming content. If you want to hop in and talk about Warhammer, I'm more than willing to do that as well. Yeah, I think that's good. If you have any comments, maybe you're the person that ran this list and you want to drop a comment about it, or maybe you are somebody that knows more about the specific type of playstyle and he wants to give me some tips about it so I can learn. It helps me out a lot because, you know, I'm not the one playing those lists. I just kind of look at it and come to my own conclusions. There's probably like a video out there for some of these lists of people playing it and they're just completely crushing it. But yeah, I think that'll be all. So as always, thank you all very much for watching. Have a great rest of your day.